Greetings, kindred, and a happy new moon to you all, wherever you are in the world. So, we have a super new moon, which means the energy is going to be a lot more stronger for this new moon. New moon's all about setting new intentions, and yeah, it's quite a nice chart actually, you know. But of course, there's always a balance to be had when it comes to the positive and negative energies. So let's just get into it actually. So the new moon will begin on February 9th at 22:59 here in London GMT time zone, at 17:59 in the EDT time zone, on the 10th of February at 9:59 in the AEDT time zone. So as the new moon begins, she will be at 20 degrees in Capricorn, conjunct the sun. Now, the moon and sun are always in conjunction at a new moon. So at 20 degrees, I mean, it's pretty good number 20 because it's all about faith. It's all about having faith in the spirit realms, in the magic of life, really. You know, the miracles and manifestations and growth. It's all about growth of spiritual values, growth of humanitarianism. So, you know, 20 is actually ruled by the moon as well. So yeah, it's all about progress and evolving. And Capricorn isn't really known really to be one that works on faith. I mean, they are very kind of like a material energy normally because Capricorn is an earth sign. So Capricorn represents the great King Anu, who really was very regal, very disciplined, very kind of committed to, you know, ruling his domain, you know, setting out rules and regulations. You know, he was good at architecture, or not architecture as in buildings, but more about putting structures together, seeing the structure, seeing the bones of things. It's all about the bones. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Capricorns are very much the hard worker. But as King Anu got into his maturity and got more into his wisdom, he did start to seek something different in life. And it was more of in a spiritual nature that he was looking for. He was looking for some sense of inner peace. I mean, he always felt, you know, that he wanted to achieve more. I don't think the Capricornian energy on the whole ever feels fulfilled. You know, they always feel they need to strive more, achieve more. And the more they get is the more they want to kind of pull in, you know. So that is kind of like the energy that the Capricorn nature tends to give off. But I just feel in this instance, you know, especially since our moon and sun are involved in this beautiful kite here with Chiron and the North Node on top. And this grand trine of the kite is actually an Earth trine with the South Node at 22 degrees in Virgo. No, I say many times 22 is the number where we have to overcome, you know, the material to really reach the spiritual. And with the moon and sun at 20, which is all about having faith. And then we have the goddess Vesta in Taurus, who really only believes in what he sees. But Vesta, she has this driving force within her, this spiritual conviction where she's willing to sacrifice for a good cause, you know, for her spiritual convictions. So I feel there is a flow here of maturity. I feel there's a flow here of like strong spiritual values. But it's like there's a shift that's needed because the South Node is involved. I mean, the South Node is what we're already familiar with. It normally represents, things that we're comfortable with. So really, you know, with the North Node and Chiron on top of the kite, it's showing me that we really do need to get into our spiritual healing abilities. Definitely. But if we haven't healed all the wounds and traumas within ourselves, then, we can't keep giving to others if we haven't really dealt with those issues within ourselves. And I would say these issues would evolve around more like abandonment issues or feelings of rejection or very sensitive to, in Pisces especially, we're very sensitive to other people's energy. So our psychic instincts could be really picking up on others. Do you know what I mean? This new moon. And because Capricorn is such a hard worker, I mean, Capricorn sometimes don't know when to stop, like Virgo. Yeah, not so much Taurus, but when Taurus is on it, he's on it. But Capricorn and Virgo, I mean, they will just keep going and going and going until they drop. And I feel here with this grand kite, it's telling me that, we can use our wisdom and all our past experiences where we've suffered in life, any traumas or any old wounds or feelings of rejection or any abandonment issues, that if we are in that place of healing, then we can definitely help others, but we really can only help those that are willing to help themselves. And I feel that is, a big message here, because it can be very draining if we're giving, but we're not really getting anything back, because the Capricorn energy is all about that as well. It's all about putting in all the work, all the effort, but never reaching the platform that we want to be on or the level we want to be on ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So I would say, even though we have all, because when you are in your faith, when you are in your self-power, you have an abundance of energy. But we really do need to make sure that we're not sacrificing ourselves for a mission or a cause or, or anything along those lines that are really just taking up too much of our energy, too much of our time, too much of our space. And, Capricorn Saturn does represent time and space as well. And the reason why I say that, and I'm emphasizing that, is because the goddess Vesta here is in quincunx to Venus, who's in Sagittarius. Now, Venus in Sagittarius, she likes her freedom. She's very strong on her faith. And normally in Sagittarius, it's normally traditional religions, do you know what I mean? Which motivate her and keeps her happy. But I just feel that this grand trine or this kite that I'm seeing here is trying to push us more into the alternative rather than the traditional. But some of us may not want to let go of those traditional spiritual values or religious values. Do you know what I mean? And all's well and good if we want to stay with that, that's fine. But we must know where to draw the line when it comes to like being charitable to other people or, giving our time and energy to other people. Like I said, we can only help those that are willing to help themselves. And I feel that's very much emphasized by this quincunx aspect between the goddess Vesta and Venus. You know, and 25 does add up to 7, which is also the number of spirit. So it's, you know, all about the spiritual, again, you know. So, yeah, I just feel we need to watch out for that. And another thing I feel that emphasizes this is this T square here. So we have the goddess Juno in Leo, in opposition to Neptune in Pisces, and they're both creating this T square towards the goddess Vesta in Taurus. So I would say that, you know, we could be a little bit kind of lacking in judgment when it comes to our commitments and our spiritual convictions. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're not really in a realistic place within ourselves to see things as they are, put it that way. So I feel again it's another emphasis on, like, sometimes we need to take a step back and really focus on ourselves, on our own happiness. You know, if we feel we're sacrificing too much of ourselves or too much of our time and space by others, and I don't just mean others as in like people around us, it could be, you know, connected to the authorities, since our new moon is in Capricorn. Yeah, I just feel like if we feel we're giving, and we're feeling a bit drained and we're feeling a little bit off key, then we really need to take it back to ourselves and do a little bit of work on ourselves. But, you know, again, for some, this could be overwhelming because maybe we've invested so much into something or someone, to come to terms with the fact that it's not going to work to how we want it to, can be quite overwhelming. Or if we're not getting from it what we need, and we won't be getting from it what we need, we have to like keep going, because we're in that place of avoidance. And yeah, I just feel that is something we need to watch out for here. I mean, whatever the case is, though, I will say that don't feel that what you're doing right now is a waste, because no, because you are, or we are gifted when we're in this energy. It's all our talents and our gifts can surface under these energies. But, you know, we can become overexcited with our newfound sense of like gifts or creativity. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes we need to like take that and actually benefit ourselves as well. You know, we must ourselves benefit from that as well. You know, this new moon really, I think, is all about grounding techniques, especially in the sign of Capricorn. I mean, because we've got this beautiful grand trine that's earthy, I would say that grounding techniques, this new moon, will be a wonderful way to go. It's not going to hurt to take one day out just to concentrate on ourselves and work on grounding. And I know the weather here in the Northern Hemisphere is a little bit damp, a little bit cold, but if we can actually get our feet onto grass or concrete, that would be great. Or even if we can walk around our house barefooted, just feel the ground, or do some meditations that are grounding, you know, or even get into some creative art. That would be like a good release for all this spiritual passion that we're feeling right now. So I just feel that, you know, sometimes underneath we get these little niggles of doubt about what we're doing, but we just don't face it, you know. So I feel also like I've said, meditation, but also prayer or chanting, because that will help to heal Because I think if we're overgiving, if we are overgiving, I mean, Capricorn is known to lack confidence as well at times, you know, or lack self-worth. So I just feel that sometimes we can overgive because of that, you know, because we're avoiding our own pain, we're avoiding our own sorrow. So I think that sometimes, you know, maybe it can be overwhelming to face our own pain or face our own sorrow. But I just feel if we're doing it under kind of spiritual practices such as meditation, such as like prayer and stuff like that, that will help us to face whatever it is we feel we need to face, or not that we feel we need to face, actually, of what we're in avoidance of. Do you know what I mean? Something that we need to face up to and heal. Because once we've done that, I feel the ascension process is going to be fantastical. You know, we will be reaching heights of spiritual evolution if we do take that step back, if we are giving too much and we're not really feeling satisfied that we're getting to the core of the essence of the matter. Now, this can also be about a relationship as well. If we're in a relationship and it's not, you know, when it's not balanced, it's like one giving more than the other, you know. And I saw this in the last chart that sometimes, you know, we idealize a relationship thinking it's more than what it is, or wanting it to be more than what it is, maybe because we have invested so much time and energy into it. And to think that that relationship isn't really what we thought it was, it can be overwhelming. It can be very soul destroying, you know, if we're not doing the healing work to heal old wounds, because in them situation, that's what we're doing. We're triggering old wounds. So that's what we need to be careful of this new moon. And no, have faith that, you know, if whatever we're in, whatever commitment we're in, whether it's a relationship, a project, a career, whatever it is we're committing to and that we're loyal to, since the goddess Juno is in Leo, you know, whatever is not working, if we're not feeling that we're being recompensated in return for all the effort we're putting in, then we just must accept that. You know, we must step back from that and start the healing. Otherwise, we can end up very, very kind of like I said, soul destroying, but we can end up in a kind of traumatic kind of energy, which we really don't want to get into. Or maybe it will trigger an old wound or an old trauma. And we need to be aware of that. Remember, when we're healing throughout life, it's always in layers. You know, Chiron is the wound that never heals, but he's the wound that over time we can use to help and teach others. But until we're ready, until we've healed that part of ourselves, we cannot teach and heal others. Otherwise, we're just band-aiding it. You know, we're just sticking plasters on wounds, and eventually that plaster's going to fall off and the wound will open again. So we just need to watch out for that. So I think some of us are getting that niggling feeling. And I would also say, if we feel we need to fight for something, then I think that thing's not really worth having. You know, in this instance, I mean, it's different if we're fighting in the material realms for our rights or for the rights of humanity. That's a different story. But when it comes to healing and spiritual healing, that is different. It's a different scenario altogether. So, and I feel with all that's gone on in the world, to be honest, over the last few months, I feel a lot of people have been in pain, have been really empathic and compassionate for what's been going on in our world. So if we're traumatized from that, then this new moon is a good time to start the healing process. Do you know what I mean? because we're not going to be able to help others unless we're in the right place. And we can help others, even if we can't help them physically on a material level, we can definitely help them spiritually by putting prayers out to them. And believe me, you know, it does work. It does work. And if that's the best we can do in the time and space we're in, then we have to accept that. We can't sacrifice ourselves, because that's not really helping the situation. That's just really, yeah, I don't really want to use the word martyrdom, because, like, yeah, there's no benefit to anybody by doing that. Just no benefit at all. We're not benefiting those people that we care and are compassionate about, and we're definitely not, you know, it's not good for ourselves. Yeah, so this T-square here with the North Node conjunct Chiron in opposition to the South Node, and they're both in square to Venus. So again, more pressure onto Venus, you know. So when the North Node is in conjunction to Chiron, this is about us getting into our healing teaching abilities. But like I said, we need to work on our own healing first before we can heal others. And you know, but with the North Node in square to Venus, it can be like going against the grain. It can be like we're deliberately setting out to upset the apple cart. And that's what we need to be aware of as well, of those that really just like to disrupt things, just like to be disruptive. Do you know what I mean? So we need to watch out for that. And with Chiron in square to Venus, it's all about a lack of self-worth, you know, where others can take advantage of us. And again, that all stems from abandonment issues, or issues, fear of rejection, or, you know, maybe we're unable to face our own insecurities. Maybe we're blind to them even, you know, whatever the case may be. And I feel like, you know, so amongst this spiritual, beautiful energy that is trying to come in here, you know, we do have Mars in conjunction to Pluto, which can be quite transitional. It can be quite an active transitional energy. But I'm really feeling it's a disruptive energy as well. Do you know what I mean? Where we can be fighting for power and control, or it could be that we're seeing like the downfall of structures again, since Pluto's back into Capricorn now. But Mars is still in Sagittarius in the last degree. So there's 2 degrees between them. So as Mars is coming into conjunction with Pluto, he's seeking freedom. He's seeking like adventure. He's seeking excitement. And Pluto in Capricorn, wow, well, that's all about corporations, structures, our foundations, and Pluto will take out anything that's not on solid ground, or anything he feels is not working, and he will replace that. So again, I just feel there's this push and pull between like constructiveness and destructiveness. Do you know what I mean? There's this push and pull energy going on here. And with the Black Moon Lilith in Leo in opposition to Saturn, which she will be off and on for most of this year, and she was in opposition to Saturn and often Pluto as well last year, although she's stopped opposing Pluto at the moment, and she's really concentrating on Saturn. Well, that's like going down the rabbit hole, this opposition. This is like going down the rabbit hole and just getting lost and feeling lost and just feeling that everything's just falling apart. But it's just a feeling. It's like we just need to face that feeling and heal it, work on it. It's like a sense of hopelessness there. So this new moon really is all about us building on our self-confidence, building on our self-power, building on our faith, our structures around faith and spiritual growth. And I feel that's what this new moon is all about, grounding techniques, so we can evolve in our spiritual strength, so we can get our feet on solid ground to face our fears, to face our pain, to face anything really that is an obstacle to us moving forward and finding happiness. So I'm going to leave it there, kindred. And as always, I'm sending you peace and much love. Take care.